Alright, so in today's video, we need to talk about everything that's coming, or at least very likely coming, in Zenless Zone 0 version 2.4. There's been a lot of chatter lately, a mix of official previews, beta server observations, and community speculation that's gotten people really hyped. So whether you've been following every leak thread on Reddit or you're just trying to catch up, we're going to go through it all. The new characters, the expected events, the potential banner order, and of course what kind of free rewards and live stream news we can look forward to later this month. If you want to save up to 23% on your Zenless Zone 0 top-ups, check out lootbar.gg. Right now, Lootbar has a 2.3 limited 6,480 polychrome pack for only $76, while it's $100 in-game. So on Lootbar, you're saving $24. I just entered my UID, picked my server, no password needed. And just like that, the monochromes appeared on my account. And look, I still got the first-time double bonus, same as with the in-game top-up. Lootbar has over 20,000 positive reviews on Trustpilot and more than 90,000 positive user reviews across Hoyoverse games. I've been using it for over a year now, even for my giveaways, so I can personally recommend it. New users also get an extra 10% off coupon, so click the link in the description and start saving today. Let's start with the big picture. Based on the update cycle so far, version 2.4 is expected to drop around November 26th, 2025, following the usual 5-hour maintenance window and the standard compensation of free polychrome for every hour the servers are down. Nothing surprising there. It's consistent with every past patch cadence since the global release. Now, what's really catching everyone's attention are the two headline agents tied to this update. Everything points toward Dialyn and Banyue, both associated with the Krampus Compliance Authority, a rather mysterious branch operating under the larger TOPS Alliance. If you're newer to the game's lore, Krampus basically functions like a corporate law enforcement unit, part suit, part sledgehammer. Their design theme is regulation, order, and controlled chaos, which already gives these two characters a really unique flavor compared to the punk rock vibe of Cunning Hares or the elegance of Victoria housekeeping. Let's talk about Dialyn first. Officially, she's been described in previews as a physical-type, stun-specialized S-rank agent. What's interesting about her gameplay loop, at least according to early event demos and community summaries, is how she seems to mix support and control in a way that's quite different from the usual burst damage dealers. Her attacks revolve around suppressing and extending stun durations, while also generating a mechanic called Rally. The Rally system appears to tie into team synergy, letting her interact directly with the next character's chain attack, or even convert that into a full ultimate attack if the gauge is full. That's a massive shift from how most agents currently play, where combo timing usually ends with the person doing the setup, not someone else cashing in. If you've played a lot of stun-focused teams, you know how that extra 3-second window on stun can completely change the pacing of a fight. From what's been described by testers, Dialyn can use her EX special attacks, often labeled Rock, Scissors, and Martial Salute, to control spacing, deal sustained physical damage, and grant a buff called Inspire that boosts her teammates' overall output. Combine that with her passive suppression effect, and she sounds like the kind of unit who can not only keep enemies locked down, but also enhance follow-up burst windows for allies like Billy or Grace. Her rumored signature W engine adds even more depth. It supposedly gives a strong critical damage boost and raises daze generation when she's using EX skills, stacking up to 3 times. So even if the final numbers change before release, the intent seems clear. Dialyn is a control-first fighter with solid team support baked into her kit, and if Hoyoverse follows its usual balancing pattern, she'll probably reward players who can time assists and chain entries precisely, rather than just spamming skills on cooldown. Now switching gears, we've got Banyue, who plays very differently. He's a fire attribute, rupture specialized S-rank agent, and if the leaks and story hints are any indication, he's the offensive counterpart to Dialyn's support role. Think of him as a disciplined brawler whose entire gameplay revolves around managing rage and entering a state called Wrath Mode. When that bar fills up, he stops using adrenaline entirely and starts burning rage instead, unleashing a continuous sequence of fire damage attacks. What's fascinating here is the risk-reward element. Apparently, Banyue can even sacrifice a portion of his own health points to restore rage and extend his wrath duration, which immediately makes him feel more like a high-intensity, almost berserker-style character. It reminds me of the way heavy weapon characters in other Hoyoverse titles like to trade defense for offense. But with ZZZ's fluid combat system, it could feel much smoother in practice. During Wrath, each EX special attack or assist follow-up grants him Inspire stacks, increasing fire damage by roughly a quarter in total when maxed, plus extra critical damage, and a stat called Sheer Force that scales with both damage and combo count. That naturally pushes Banyue toward aggressive team setups with assist or stun partners who can keep enemies immobilized while he goes wild. Pairing him with Dialyn would make thematic sense. Their kits practically complement each other, one setting up and the other finishing off. His leaked W engine leans into that identity too. A high base attack value with bonus critical rate and stacking fire shear damage buffs every time he uses EX skills. So in theory, Banyue becomes stronger the longer he stays in combat, which suits players who like holding pressure instead of constantly swapping. Of course, all of these details are still unofficial. The exact numbers, cooldowns, and even animation timings could be rebalanced before the final build. But given Hoyoverse's history across both Honkai Star Rail and Genshin Impact, these mechanics tend to stay conceptually consistent once they reach beta, so it's reasonable to assume the final release will follow this overall direction, Dialyn focusing on stun control and Inspire buffs, Banyue focusing on fire burst and rage management. Now, when it comes to banners, the pattern suggests that Dialyn will headline Phase 1, with Banyue following in Phase 2. Past cycles like 2.2 and 2.3 followed the same S-rank per phase structure, often accompanied by a returning limited agent or two. Community trackers have floated the possibility of a Hugo or Ellen rerun, but nothing's official yet, so take that with a healthy dose of skepticism. On the event side, 2.4 is rumored to tweak Deadly Assault, the endgame mode that's basically ZZZ's version of the Abyss. A few beta notes mention adjustments to enemy behavior and scoring, possibly to make physical and Ice Week bosses more relevant this round. And for side content, several community posts expect the Enna Chess Legend minigame to return, a fan-favorite auto-battler style event that originally ran back in 2.1. Again, not confirmed, but it fits the update's rotation timing and Hoyo's pattern of recycling one big rerun event each patch. We're also expecting a new cosmetic, reportedly for Kamano Minato, appearing in the Today's Outfit shop under the name Whiteheart's Silhouette. It'll probably be a monochrome shop item just like previous premium outfits. Now, the next big milestone before release is the version 2.4 special program, which is scheduled for November 14th, 2025. If you've watched past streams, you know the drill. It's a mix of new trailers, code reveals, and a few teasers for upcoming factions or story arcs. Each live stream usually drops 3 limited-time redemption codes for Polychrome, Denny, and Agent materials, so make sure you're online right after it ends to claim them before they expire. Speaking of rewards, the base game will also give out maintenance compensation once 2.4 goes live. Probably around 300 Polychrome, plus a few materials. And since every major patch so far has had a themed login bonus, it's safe to expect another round of free pulls or resources, even if they haven't been officially announced yet. So, putting it all together, 2.4 is shaping up to be a pretty exciting update. 2 new S-rank agents from the same faction, a fresh take on the stun and rupture roles, the potential return of one of the community's favorite events, and at least one cosmetic addition to chase. It feels like Hoyoverse is gradually tightening the combat meta and pushing players towards synergistic faction play rather than random mix and match lineups. I'm really curious to see how Dialyn's rally mechanic interacts with existing agents, and whether Banyue's Wrath state ends up being as risky as it sounds on paper. Will we see teams that revolve around alternating burst and support phases, or will one of them completely redefine how players approach the stun and rupture archetypes? Let me know what you think. Who are you planning to pull for, or are you saving your polychrome for future regions? That's everything we currently know, or can reasonably infer, about Zenless Zone 0 version 2.4. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you after the livestream. Save up to 23% on the current banners at lootbar.gg. Just enter your UID and server. The link is in the description.